Welcome to today's discussion on a complex neurodevelopmental disorder, ADHD. This condition, often misunderstood, is multifaceted, extending beyond mere inattention or hyperactivity. It manifests in diverse, intricate ways, impacting various aspects of an individual's life. Let's delve into the 10 commonly associated components of ADHD. Firstly, we explore inattention, a key component of ADHD. Imagine trying to concentrate on a task, but being constantly sidetracked by the slightest sound, movement, or thought. This is the reality for those struggling with inattention. Their minds are often a whirlwind of thoughts, making it difficult to focus on one thing at a time. Even when they muster the will to concentrate, they may find themselves easily distracted by irrelevant stimuli. A ticking clock, a bird's song, or even their own thoughts can divert their attention, making them lose track of what they were doing. This lack of attention to detail can lead to careless mistakes, be it in their work, studies, or daily chores. It's not a matter of not caring or being lazy. It's a genuine struggle to keep their attention anchored. This constant battle with inattention can significantly affect a person's life, making simple tasks challenging. Next, we discuss hyperactivity. A term you've probably heard before, but what does it really mean when we talk about ADHD? It's not just about being overly energetic. Hyperactivity refers to excessive motor activity. It's a constant hum of movement that isn't always in sync with the environment. Picture someone fidgeting, tapping their foot, or showing restlessness when it's time to sit still. In a classroom or office, you might see this as an inability to stay seated, running or climbing in situations where it's inappropriate, or even just an inability to enjoy leisure activities quietly. Hyperactivity isn't always physical movement either. It can also be excessive talking or feeling internally restless. This isn't just a case of being full of beans. It's a sign that the brain's motor activity is in overdrive. Hyperactivity can be disruptive both to the individual and those around them. Let's move on to impulsivity. Imagine a pinball machine. The ball bounces unpredictably, reacting instantly to whatever it touches. This is a bit like impulsivity, a key component of ADHD. It involves acting without thinking about the consequences. Imagine interrupting others mid-conversation, blurting out answers before a question is fully asked, or struggling to wait patiently for your turn. It's like an itch that you just have to scratch right away. Impulsivity isn't about being rude or impatient. It's about struggling to control immediate reactions. It's about the brain's wiring, where the need for immediate satisfaction often overrides the potential for long-term consequences. This can make life unpredictable, and yes, it can lead to regrettable actions. But remember, understanding impulsivity isn't about assigning blame. It's about gaining insight into a different way of experiencing the world. Impulsivity can lead to unpredictable and often regrettable actions. Now, we tackle difficulty in organizing tasks. Individuals with ADHD often struggle with organization and time management. Imagine having a jigsaw puzzle in front of you, but all the pieces are scattered and you're not sure where to start. That's how it can feel for someone with ADHD when it comes to organizing tasks. They may have difficulty prioritizing tasks, often overwhelmed by the number of tasks at hand. It's like being in a room with 100 televisions, each playing a different channel. It's hard to know which one to focus on first. This challenge can also manifest in the form of cluttered spaces, as individuals with ADHD often struggle to keep their physical environment organized. It's not just about being tidy. It's about being able to find what you need when you need it. These difficulties with organization and time management can lead to procrastination, missed deadlines, and stress. This can result in a string of unfinished projects and tasks. Let's discuss forgetfulness. Imagine a scenario where you are engrossed in a task only to be interrupted by a sudden thought. This thought demands your attention, causing you to abruptly shift focus. The initial task is now forgotten, abandoned halfway. This is a daily reality for those dealing with ADHD, where forgetfulness is a common trait. It's not just about forgetting where the keys are or missing an appointment. It's about losing track of essential items necessary for tasks at hand. It's about forgetting the steps in a process despite having done it multiple times before. And it's about the constant shifting of attention from one incomplete activity to another, causing a cycle of unfinished tasks. This constant forgetfulness can be stressful. It can lead to missed appointments, lost items, and a sense of being disorganized and out of control. But understanding this trait can help us develop strategies to manage it better. Forgetfulness can lead to missed appointments and lost items, adding to daily stress. Next up, lack of focus. This is a common symptom associated with ADHD, and it's one that can be quite challenging to navigate. Imagine trying to read a book, but your mind keeps wandering off to the chores you have to do, the television show you watched last night, or the conversation you had with a friend earlier. This constant shifting of attention makes it difficult to concentrate on tasks that require sustained mental effort. It's like trying to watch a movie with someone constantly changing the channel. Frustrating, isn't it? Now, imagine experiencing that every day, with every task. This lack of focus can affect individuals in various areas of life, from school and work to personal projects and relationships. It's not about laziness or lack of willpower, but rather a struggle with maintaining attention and resisting distractions. This often results in tasks taking longer than necessary or not being completed at all. Now, let's talk about procrastination. Procrastination is an all too familiar foe for many of us, but it hits differently when you're dealing with ADHD. It's not just about putting off tasks, it's a struggle with initiating tasks that require sustained mental effort. Imagine standing at the foot of a mountain, knowing you have to climb it. You're not just daunted by the height of the mountain, but the sheer effort it would take to start climbing. That's what procrastination feels like for someone with ADHD. Often this delay comes from feeling overwhelmed. It's as if 1,000 thoughts are buzzing in your mind, each pulling you in a different direction. The result? You're stuck in a state of inaction, not because you're lazy, but because you're paralyzed by the enormity of the task at hand. Procrastination can lead to increased stress and decreased productivity. It's not a character flaw, but a manifestation of the ADHD brain's unique wiring. Let's move on to poor impulse control. This is an aspect of ADHD that involves difficulty in controlling impulses, leading to an array of impulsive behaviors. Imagine acting on a whim without considering the consequences. This could involve interrupting others mid-conversation, making decisions on the spur of the moment, or even engaging in risky activities without much thought. The challenge here lies not in the impulsivity itself, but in the inability to control these impulses. The impulse control center of our brain acts as a sort of brake system, helping us evaluate the potential outcomes before we act. But for someone with ADHD, this brake system might not work as efficiently. Impulses can come in all shapes and sizes, from small, seemingly harmless actions like blurting out an answer, to larger, more consequential behaviors like making a major decision without proper consideration. Poor impulse control can lead to negative consequences in risky situations. Next, we discuss emotional dysregulation. A key component of ADHD is emotional dysregulation, which is the difficulty in managing and responding to an emotional stimulus in a socially acceptable manner. This can lead to individuals with ADHD experiencing emotions more intensely, more rapidly, and for a longer duration than others. Emotions such as frustration, anger, or excitement can often feel overwhelming. The world can sometimes seem like an emotional roller coaster, with the highs being extremely high and the lows quite low. This emotional instability isn't just distressing for the individual, but can also affect their relationships and interactions with others. The challenge also lies in calming down after an emotional arousal. This can be particularly hard for individuals with ADHD, as their minds and bodies are still reacting to the emotional stimulus long after the trigger has passed. It's a bit like trying to stop a speeding train. It takes time and distance to come to a halt. Emotional dysregulation can lead to intense emotional reactions and difficulty in calming down. Lastly, let's touch on time management difficulties. This is a common component of ADHD that can be particularly challenging. People with ADHD often struggle with accurately estimating how long tasks will take to complete. This can be as simple as underestimating how long it takes to get to work in the morning, or as complex as not allocating enough time to complete a project or assignment. This difficulty with time perception can lead to a cycle of procrastination and rushing to meet deadlines, which can be incredibly stressful. It can also result in tasks being left unfinished or poorly done due to the time crunch. This is not because they are lazy or don't care about their responsibilities, but rather because their brains are wired differently, and they genuinely struggle with understanding and managing time. Learning to manage time effectively can be a challenge, but with the right strategies and supports, it is certainly possible. Poor time management can lead to missed deadlines and increased stress. In conclusion, ADHD is a complex disorder with many facets. From inattention to hyperactivity, impulsivity, organizational difficulties, forgetfulness, lack of focus, procrastination, poor impulse control, emotional dysregulation, and time management issues. Understanding these components can help us better support those living with ADHD.